So I was watching this viral clip of this man driving to work, complaining about having to drive to work and having to work and work and work and cussing out everybody. And I would have to say, I feel the same way sometimes, buddy, but when I start thinking like that, when I start getting really angry at them and everybody else for why I always have to be suffering, then I think, wow, I got it pretty good. Now, I'm not saying we don't need to fix some stuff, and it has to start with God. And at the end of the day, we have to come together as a country. I know there's a lot of us out there. We cannot allow this to keep going on this way. And sometimes you got to go Old Testament, you know? Sometimes you just got to do what you have to do for the greater good. And some feelings are going to get hurt, but we need to come together with God, get this country back on what it was founded on, and that was God. And Jesus is the only way to Him. So we have to stop feeling so bad for ourselves and how much we have to suffer. Just be glad that you have a house to live in. You know how many people, how many of us out there are lost and on the streets and medicated to the T's if they're not on the streets, and told all these lies, and it seems like now it's all about feelings and how I feel and how I feel on this. And it's like, well, how about how somebody else feels? I'm not saying we don't need to start speaking out about the stuff that's going wrong, and I'm not saying that we shouldn't be frustrated with it, but you know, we can't let them see us sweat. I found out a couple things. When I got out of the military, I moved to Michigan. Nobody here would give me a job. And that's not true because I've had a couple jobs since I've been here. But nobody would give me a job doing what I was qualified for, which is pretty much everything. Because if I don't know how to do something, you give me a week, I'll be pretty darn good at it. You give me a month, you'll know why you hired me. But that just comes from that's the way it had to be in the military. You had lots of jobs all the time, and everything was always changing. While you're going to school, while you're fighting a war, all these things. And you never get to see your kids. 10 years. Maybe one Christmas home. Maybe. We can do this. America can be great again. America can be a beacon of hope for other countries to maybe that they fight for that same fight that we fought for our own sovereignty, for our own country. I know it was a long time ago, but we should be more powerful now. We may have corrupt stuff that's going on in our past and in our future. But that's just the way life is. You're always going to have the good with the evil. But the good will always prevail. But not if we've lost what the good is that we started this country for, and that was for God. And You can't help anybody else in this world if you can't even help yourself. So all these people saying that we have to help everywhere and do all these things, if we can't even feed our own, why are we trying to feed and save all these other places? At the end of World War, we spread out all over the place. And that's why we have bases all over the world. Those bases weren't there so we could take over that country. Those bases were theirs so they knew that America was still there. America came through its own civil war. It came through, before that, it came through separating from England, from British control, while still having people here that wanted British control. World War I, World War II. We didn't even want to get into World War II. But sometimes things happen. And that war was super short. And Korea, that wasn't that long of a war either. Vietnam, crazy long. But we knew we weren't supposed to, we shouldn't have gone there. Everybody knew that. Kuwait, I could have seen it. We have oil interests. They have a lot of oil in Kuwait. So when Saddam was doing the stuff he was doing, it's not like, oh my God, we were just doing it for oil. He was doing some messed up stuff. And we went there and we stopped him from doing messed up stuff. And in just that short amount of time, there was a crazy amount of carnage. All I'm saying is we spend a lot of time complaining about what we don't have. But let's come together and do with less so we can fight the evil that is sitting in our presidency right now. And he doesn't even know it. I hope that we can get together and come out there and make it happen. Captain. I know it's not funny, but we can do. The CB motto, we can do. With compassion, we build and we fight. With compassion for others. Sorry. Been a while since I said it. Y'all have a good night. Think about what I said, and I'm sorry, brother, the one in the video. I feel your pain, and I've been there too. But getting angry, doing all that stuff like that, isn't helping anything. We got to be level-headed. We got to be cool and calm, because no battle is ever really won with anger. And the ones that are, those aren't the good ones. Have a good night. I'll talk to you all later. May God bless us all. One love.